Hello again. Now, South Africans have been given one extra week to have their say on the draft COVID-19 regulations. The Health Minister, Dr. Joe Phaahla, extending that deadline earlier today. The regulations are aimed at dealing with COVID-19 and other notifiable conditions without a national state of disaster being declared. Dr. Phaahla briefed Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Health earlier, and listening into that was my colleague, fellow eNCA and reporter Heidi Giokos. She's now with me in the studio just to quickly give us a few highlights. Heidi, good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here. Now, there is concern about the regulations, but the Health Minister has dispelled all speculation because some of us feel like he wants to control us.
Yes, there are South Africans that feel that government implementing these COVID-19 regulations 2 years ago and currently is a way for government to control South Africans. But the Health Minister being very clear to say that now, because the national state of disaster has ended, government needs to still be able to find a way to control infections should they increase. And the only way to do this is to have amended regulations that suit, should there be any increase in infection, and given the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic is not over with. Government has also made it very clear that they need to find a way to still allow us to live life as per normal and not have these regulations like we had during the hard lockdown. And this is why they amended certain regulations, but there's further amendments that need to take place. This is why there are draft regulations. Public is allowed to comment, and the Health Minister saying that these regulations aren't going to be forever. We don't know how long COVID-19 is going to be around for. We don't know if we're going to have a very worrying and concerning variant that suddenly emerges. We don't know what the fifth wave is going to look like. And government cannot be caught off guard because they need to make sure they protect the lives of South Africans, but also not overburden our healthcare facilities. But let's listen to the Health Minister on that.
Also, just to emphasize that the suspicion that in terms of these new regulations, this can go on forever and ever. We want to dispel that myth as well, that this is to manage, these regulations can be amended as the situation changes. So the fear that in terms of this regulation, some of the measures looks like can go on forever. We want to dispel that myth also, that is definitely not the case.
And the Minister has also announced, Heidi, that the deadline for public comment has been extended.
Yes, certainly. And I think part of the reason for this, Bradan, is given the fact that over 100,000 people have made their comments to the draft regulations. So there's been an overwhelming response to the draft regulations. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that South Africans also want to have a say. In the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't have much of a say. We just had to adhere to these COVID-19 regulations. But now that the opportunity has been given, government has allowed for South Africans to comment to these draft regulations. It's been extended by 7 days, so by the 24th of April, those draft regulations will be closed for public comment. There's also been a WhatsApp line that has been opened up for those who want to comment publicly. I'll get the number and then I'll tweet it if those that want to comment and want to WhatsApp can do so. But it just allows South Africans to also partake in this, because a lot of the time you feel as a South African you don't have much say. These regulations are going to affect everybody, and this is why government is saying you're allowed to comment. We've extended it by 7 days. Let's listen on that.
The Minister has authorized us to extend the period for extra 7 days, and that will be in the Gazette this morning. And we've now, in addition to the email, people can actually use the WhatsApp number that will be gazetted this morning to actually comment on the matter.
Okay, there you have it there. That update from Heidi Giokos.